Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the call today. Whew, fired up. Praying that this touches somebody today, get somebody fired up, ready to go make a difference in the world positively. Welcome to the call. Hey, Rob. Alrighty. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I need the little cord, though. Oh, no, that's good. I guess I don't need the little cord. No, this isn't it. There's got to be another. Yeah, there it is. Thanks, Mark. Good morning, Kathy. Good morning, Linda. Fired up, everybody. Welcome to the call today. I'm going to go ahead and put this microphone on so that you guys can actually get a better connection. Alrighty. These new phones or something. Voila. Ta-da. Fantastic. That should be better. Does that sound better, you guys? For those that were on? Just join. Hopefully it sounds better. Good morning, Linda. Hey, Cindy. Welcome to the call today. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm praying that you can hear me a little bit better. I just put this microphone on, but hold on. Let me just see if I can find something to establish it. Hold on a second. Let me see. I don't see anything to establish it because it's dangling. Can you guys hear me okay? Just somebody say, yes, Linda, great. Thank you so much. Yeah, because I just put the microphone, but it's kind of a little bit below. It's like blocked. I sound good. Thanks, Randy. You're the best. The best, the best, the best. Fired up, because this little microphone was what I was missing last week. Hey, Emily. Fantastic. From London. Fired up. So it's nighttime for you right now, I believe. I couldn't find any mugs. This is a big enough one or what? Good morning from Canada, Jeremy. Hello. Chicago, it's cold. It's cold here in South Carolina, guys. Even my sister told me it was cold in Florida. So there's kind of a snap going on. I understand there's some snow upstate. Yeah, I was reaching out to the phones. They can't hear me on the phones, Mark. Hey, guys, if you have anything, Mark's here with me today. So maybe you could tell him about that because I don't. We're doing our best with the phones. You might want to just use the broadcast from the Facebook Live and go with it. Sorry about that. I can't. I just, maybe we'll figure something out. I don't know why you can't hear me. Let's see. Let's see. I know if I hold it right close like this, you're going to love it, right? But I'm not going to be holding this phone the whole time. So I'm going to put it back over there. It's probably at a better spot.
You're clear of the phone.
Okay, so people are telling me different. And I don't have it up on my computer, but I don't need it if you're taking care of it.
You're good, I got it.
Fired up. All right. Good morning from Colorado. Yes, welcome. Okay, fantastic. Okay. Carol's talking to me. All right, Carol, stop texting me. You're getting me all sidetracked. Fantastic. Well, I wanted to know how's everybody doing with the challenge I proposed last week. You guys have been writing down your goals and professing them morning and night. If you did not, hey Donna in Chicago, if you did not, Amy, yeah, that was last week. It said 8:45. I had to back it up because I had to bring somebody somewhere. I'm going to go ahead and swipe these only because they're distracting me. I love all the comments and I'd love to communicate with you. I was hoping that some of you would respond to, but I'm not getting the responses. And you can still communicate with one another about the challenge I proposed to you last week, which was surrounding just writing out your goals. What are your goals? What is it that you and intend to do, and on one side of the paper, and you can have anything. Ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, knock and the door shall be open to you. That was on the one side of your index card, and on the other side of the index card we were going to write our goals, and we were going to profess them morning and night. And I just wanted to know how many of you are following through with that, because one of the key reasons people succeed when you study successful people is that they have a written goal. They have, and I also suggested it also last week, is to get up a little bit earlier. If you can get up earlier and write, there's something about that creative imagination that happens when you're first getting up in the morning. And so to take that time, you will not believe some of the creative things that come in the morning, just take an extra hour to just sit, relax with your cup of tea and start to write. And it's really, truly amazing. Just let yourself just write, like some of the things that maybe you aspire to, things that you're looking to achieve, maybe a little bit about your goals, whatever comes to mind. And I am a proponent of definitely keeping a prayer journal, but also a dream journal. So, because there's something so powerful in dreams. So you want to write out your dreams. If you're not writing them out, because God speaks to us through dreams. It's proven, it's spoken about in the Word. And I want you guys to really be, and I want to share this because if we're not taking care of the Word He gives us, for example, how often do we forget a dream? It's easy to forget a dream. Sometimes if it's a dream from God or if you've heard God, it seems like it sticks with you all the more, right? It's like you couldn't forget it. Like I would never forget the day that I heard His voice and He spoke a sentence. Or there's times when I've heard Him very clearly and there's just no disputing that and you don't forget. But sometimes He is also speaking to us through dreams. I recommend writing them out and then watching the timeline in how that works, because He does speak to us through dreams, through trances, visions, angels even, God Himself. And we want to be able to take care of what He gives us, because as we become more responsible with it, to whom much is given, the Word says, much is required. He's willing to give more. And I shared the parable last week about, the talents. Because if you're given something, He's giving you dreams, because that's God comes, right? And He wants to speak to us and commune with us. He's a rewarder of those that diligently seek. So I just want you to have those things, write them out, get up in the morning, start to write, and amazing how often your dreams will even come back to you when you're in that point of quietness where you're not hustle bustle. And when I say that, turn off, you're not going to do as good of a job for yourself. This is about you and development of you, because your income, for example, which is the measurable way that we are successful in our society, is directly correlated to your own personal development. And this is all part of personal development. But I believe that success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal, something that even if you're a homemaker and that's what you wanted to do. I know I told my husband before we were even married, I said, when we decide to have kids one day, I want you to know I will raise them myself. I would rather live in a tent and raise them myself. So this is my goal, is as I brought children into the world, that I would take the time with them, that I wanted to instill upon them my goals and my beliefs. And that was just for me. And so I had professed it to him before we ever were married. And we didn't have kids, guys, by the way. We were, 5 years together before marriage, 7 years married. So 12 years before we had our first child. But I had told him so 12 years before our first child, it was like pretty early on, that I would raise them. My desire. So these are the progressive realization of a worthy goal or worthy ideal. For me, it was to raise my own kids, to be able to speak life into them. When I became pregnant, to be careful, because I'm careful. I know I've done enough research and have listened to enough great stuff, and just know the power. And of course, the Bible even says to call forth those things that are not as though they were. So if you're speaking stuff that is not in alignment with what you're looking to accomplish, whether it's in your body, you might have a health challenge going on. And one of the hardest things about that in today's day and age is when we have a health challenge, we want to go to the doctor, right? And I'm not saying don't go to the doctor, but unfortunately there is when all the chatter comes. And that's where you have to really guard your mind of what, when you leave, or maybe, again, I'm not saying don't go to the doctor. I'm not saying that, but you want to guard your mind as to what it reverberates through your being. So you want to make sure that you're writing out, what are your goals for health? What are your goals for your physical body, if you need to take off some fat weight, and I do distinguish that fat and then muscle. Maybe you want to put on a little bit more lean tissue, because guess what? You will be able to eat more if you have more lean tissue, right? Because your body's metabolism will go up. But dieting actually causes your body to use up the nutrition in the muscle, depleting muscle and increasing fat because it's starving. This is what I do. So this is just an aside. This doesn't cost anything extra today. But I'm going to tell you that lowers your metabolism. So I want to encourage you that, just to write these goals out. What is it to be healthy? Maybe you're on a job situation and maybe you just heard something from me and you said, man, I would like to be able to speak life into my own kids. And so, but you're already working somewhere else. Well, write it out. Guys, out of every 100 people in this world, in this country, who, by age 65, there's only 5% of them that have success. But if you study the percentages, those people that have success, and again, perceived success it's an individual thing, right? Success, and I believe it's the realization of a worthy ideal or a worthy goal. You're going after something, but 5%, and again, in our society, it's measured by finances. 5% achieve that. And so when you think about why is that, I'm telling you why. I'm telling you the answer. We become what we think about all day long. Ralph Waldo Emerson said that. And if you believe you can, you will. I mean, who said that? Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So it's extremely important to realize that there's too much. In history, throughout all of history, the greatest philosophers, the wise men, prophets, teachers, they've all disagreed on almost everything, right? But the one unanimous point, the one point that is just unanimous, they're in complete and unanimous agreement on, is that you become what you think about all day long. It's so important that we realize that this is a given. So when I propose this challenge for you for the next 30 days to wake up, write it out first of all. Write it out. Who did it? Who didn't do it? Why didn't you do it? Because life can get in the way. That's why. I know that. That's why when I say wake up in the morning, don't turn your phone on. Don't turn your computer on. Don't think you're going to turn your computer on and then start to type on your computer what you're thinking. Good old-fashioned pen and paper. Why? Because if you turn your computer on and think you're going to go into your notes and do it or put it on a whatever, what's going to happen is all of a sudden, bing, 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 you're going to get all your notices. Now you're distracted. Now your mind is becoming cluttered with the nonsense. You don't want that. Right now you just woke up. It's settled. It's quiet. And this is a challenge, guys. In today's day and age, this is the challenge. But if you want to be head and shoulders above the rest, if you want to become one that stands out amongst and beyond, above and beyond everyone around you, it's important to follow the proven methods of success from every successful person. As a matter of fact, there's a book out there that I would venture to guess every successful person, or let me just put it, probably 96%. I'm just pulling this out. I want to say 99%. But in today's day and age, what's happening is there's a lot of success teaching. But in the past, before all these success teachings were so readily available, I would say 99%, but we'll go with 96% of every successful person. I'm talking about somebody that has made millions of dollars or very successful in life. They've read a book. You guys want to know what the book is? Some of you already know, and you're probably already typing it in the comment section. But it's Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And I recommend it highly. I remember when we started in this industry where we were offered a way out of this rat race. Because what happened was, for those that don't know, Herb was a state trooper. I was getting my master's in special ed. So we were going to pursue those two careers for the next 40 years of our life. And that's kind of what society points us in this direction. And that's where we were going. And it was great, very successful. They were well paying. They were definitely, an honorable type of job, if you will. But what they were doing was, I felt immediately they were pulling us in opposite directions. So I wasn't really looking, actually, I take that back. I wasn't really looking for something else. But what ended up in our lap was a way out. And although I was skeptical about it, because who makes millions of dollars and then calls little old me? Like, it didn't make sense. Like, why would a millionaire step into our lives and help us? And so I was rather skeptical about it, but what if kept clicking off in my head. But what if it's true? What if this is available? What if this guy does have this type of freedom? Because that's the driver for me personally. I don't know what the driver is for you. That's what I'm telling you. You've got to distinguish and determine, and you can just start to write and you'll come up with something. But I don't know what it is. Some people tell me, I don't know. Well, garbage. There's something that's not right in your life. Are you happy with how much time you have? Are you happy with your freedom? I'm not sure if that's your driver. I have to focus on my driver because this is my driver and it's what I can speak with passion about. But, are you happy with the fact that you could just, whatever? Or are you stuck? Do you have to be at the job? Maybe I'm speaking to a physician or an attorney or somebody who realizes that their income is directly correlated to the number of patients or clients that they can see. And that exchange of time for money, and how many times can you make that exchange of time for money, and can you make it enough times to create wealth? Even though it's a well-paying career. Or where's your freedom? If you're a store owner, can you just pick up and go? Or do you wonder who's stealing from you? Is your help good enough to be able to leave the place? And is it producing the income you want to give you the freedom to say, hey kids, let's go, and be able to get a hop on a plane and go somewhere? Maybe you wanted, your lifelong goal was to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. I know recently we had some friends of ours call us and they wanted us to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro. And I remember with their enthusiasm and the way that they kind of sold us on the idea was with excitement and enthusiasm and and it was their lifelong goal. Well, guess what? We bought into it. Herb and I got excited, and we actually had two separate people go into this. There was a guy, Lance. Well, now it was going with a group of people, and then there was some friends of ours from the business, two separate and around the same time frame. And we got excited. Then I started saying to Herbie, I says, this has never been a goal for me. Has it been a goal for you? Because this was the first time we ever talked about it. And he's like, no. I said, I really am not into this challenge. Honestly, I was honest with him and myself, and started to realize that I kind of just bought into somebody else's goal. Have you ever done that? Have you ever bought into that? That's why when I'm sharing that, because if I'm sharing with you my thing for freedom, I know I kind of speak about it because I know a lot of people love to be free and the freedom to not have to be somewhere. But I don't want to disrupt the fact that maybe you're working somewhere where you love it. That's great. That is success. The realization of a worthy goal. Maybe your whole life you wanted to be a firefighter. Maybe your whole life you've always dreamed of being a police officer or a teacher. That's great. Then do it with everything you've got. That's the point. It's relative. Everybody's goals and dreams in life, it's all relative to what are your goals and dreams. And so like with what we do, it's a matter of helping as many people as we can. We've been known to walk through places. I remember wherever we were just recently somewhere, and I said to her, I love people. I just love people. Like, I know that everybody's got their own little story, and I'm very sensitive to it, because what happens is that everybody's got a little story, and I can be real sensitive about it, because you empathize with people. But there is such an opportunity for us to have great success. Do you want to have great success? There's so many opportunities. What is happening with our population? The explosion of our population is that moves now into people are getting older. Well, what are their needs? There's just so many great business ideas for people that are thinking of ideas. That's why I tell you in the morning, wake up, write it down. There's things that need to come to fruition. There's things that need to be discovered. There's ideas that need to be birthed. And I believe the wealth of the wicked is moving into the hands of the righteous. I believe that with everything in me. I don't believe, and I know that it happens that people who are wicked, evil people, they do get along. They do sometimes have great success. And we see it and you say, God, where are you in this? But you know what? There's a reason, and we just don't have to worry about that, because, and even if you're successful and you're moving forward in a direction and you have a written goal and you've got a plumb line, you're stuck, you're not going to go off of that plumb line. It's going to be that there's right and there's wrong. You're not doing the wrong thing. You know, I had somebody call one of my team members yesterday, and you could tell that the whole thing was contrived. Somebody helped them write something out, and it was like so like wrong, like the way that it came across. But it was like, I don't, if the person really wants to do this thing, and release, let them go. I'm kind of like, just whatever somebody wants, I want to support them, because if they feel that their successes, they would have more success elsewhere. I told the person, let them go, sign off on it, let it go. They don't make them sit out for 6 months or a year or whatever it was going to be. Let them go. That's how I roll, because for me, there's just such abundance, guys. But sometimes when you watch how things come to, you can tell when things have been contrived or done wrong. And I think that's what, if we would just realize that there's a plumb line, and we would stick to the plumb line, stick to the fact that there's right and there's wrong. And you know what it is. You know what's right and you know what's wrong. Because there's an unsettling in our being if we're doing something that's not right. If you're lying or figuring how to manipulate or work the system or whatever it might be, you're just not happy doing that. So often, especially in the industry I'm in now, I'm starting to see more and more people come to the table and they want a deal. And I'm like, ugh, with the deal, please. It's so against, it's almost an entitlement. I hate to say that, but it's like an entitlement. They want you to give them before they've even worked. Where is that ever? When you want to produce, you want the fruit of your garden, but you haven't planted it? That's what people do. They come to the table and they expect a monetary payment for something they've never done. They haven't even produced a thing. Now, I get it on the one hand, and things are shifting that way, and I so much have my heels dug in the ground saying, oh my gosh, please get to work, and then it'll produce. And then choose something you love. But yet sometimes when you're starting out in a direction, you're not going to be excellent at what you do right away. And so that causes a discomfort and uncomfortable feeling because you're not good at it, you're unsure, and all of those things. But if you determine that you're going to be, and nothing's going to get in your way, I'm going to be tremendously successful and nothing's going to get in my way. When you determine it like that, and you've got that oomph, and you've got that passion, and you can speak with that type of conviction, now all of a sudden you go out and you figure out, okay, I don't have this verbiage. I'm going to get it though. How? Well, I know, transcribe, write things out. Once you write things out and you say them a ton of times, you're going to own them. It's going to be, even if it wasn't you that wrote it. It might even not even sound like your verbiage. But just like an actor or an actress gets a spot for this great film, or that's better yet, they're going out for the spot, and the auditions are going on, and you've got 1,000 people going for this one limelight. I mean, this one. Guess what? If you had to learn the scripting to perform at the audition, if it produced $1 million for you, you would learn it. People don't take. You guys want to rise above the rest? Do you want to rise above the rest? It's called excellence. It's called excellence. Finding this place where you will shine and it'll show. What you do in private shows up. If you're working out and you're doing the thing, guess what? Beautiful bodies don't happen. They're worked at if they're chiseled and have muscle. A basketball player doesn't show up and start shooting threes, making 90% of their threes, 80%, 90% of their shots without having done something. They don't just normally show up in a game. I just saw something where somebody hit 9 3-point shots. Guys, that's huge. 9 3-point shots in a game. I thought to myself, this was a high school game. I thought, this girl has put the effort in. This girl has put the time in. You don't just show up and expect it all to be handed to you. Don't just show up at companies and expect them to give you everything. Especially with the company, for example, that I work with has a hugely beneficial compensation plan. If you would put the legs to the work, oh my gosh, you're so well rewarded. Don't fall for it, guys. Some of you I'm speaking to who are in my industry, you're having people and are in my company with the greatest compensation plan ever. Guys, if that's you and you've got people coming to you and they're asking you for deals, be careful. Consult with somebody. Ask somebody that has a little bit more knowledge than you do before you commit. I had somebody come to me and said that somebody else agreed to a crazy agreement. And I told the guy, I says, I would definitely, that is not something I would ever say, ever, in a gazillion years. That's way out of hand. It's not measurable, and it's way out. Besides the fact, it goes against the grain of who I am, even that they're asking. So the fact that he asks something that's not even measurable, you got to realize that there's people out there that can help you. And some people just need to realize that they've got to humble themselves to ask for the help. So when we were introduced to this industry and this millionaire wanted to put his arm around us and help us, it didn't make sense. But I quickly started to realize, man, if you want to become successful, find somebody that's become tremendously successful before you and duplicate what they did. Now, again, we're in a very quick, fast-growing, evolving with social media and all this stuff, and some of the old-fashioned stuff that like, for example, how I like to roll. I've also adjusted, and some of you have watched me just learn things live in your face because I'm not prideful. I'm not so proud that I can't. And I tell people all the time, I definitely don't know everything. I definitely haven't arrived, but I know that success, it's just something that is a given for us, and it goes back to what I was saying at the beginning of the call. It all starts with, are you calling it forth? Because the Bible says, call forth those things that are not as though they were, and then go get it. But it's also something mixed with enthusiasm and passion. I get so fired up that people wonder what I am so excited about, that they want to know, and they can't even help themselves. So, and people who succeed, by the way, if the circumstances aren't what they want, you know what they do? They can't find the situation that they're looking. They make it happen. They go make the circumstance what they want. So, because I've heard people say, "Oh man, if I lived by you and I could plug into what you're doing and all this kind of stuff." But if you don't have the circumstance, then you need to go make it happen. You can make that happen today. Today. I mean, the faster you start to take action steps and start to speak. Listen, I got a little secret for you. If you speak like you know what you're talking about, it's amazing. You will start to know what you're talking about because it will pull on you. It will command. There'll be a pulling for you to be that person that you're speaking like. I don't know if this makes sense, but I know that when we started in our current company, or if I go all the way back to 1988, December 88 through 89, and we were learning all this, man, I just walked like I would walk through Harlem. When I walked through certain sections of the town I grew up, I walked like I belong, like don't mess with me. Nobody would mess with me or believe that I didn't belong there. And it's the same thing when you're starting in a business or something that you're looking to master. You've got to walk like, talk like you belong, like you know what you're talking, because people follow people who are educated in what they're looking to follow them into, right? I mean, you have to have a little element, and I told you last week, because I'm one that doesn't like sales, but yet when I believe in something, I can speak about it, and I believe so fully in our industry, for example. That's why when I see it getting tarnished through silly requests, I get a little like a mother bear with her cubs. I get a little guard doggish, because I don't like that. That's not, we run a huge, this is multi-million dollar, hundreds of millions of dollars a year of product go through a business that we run from our home. I mean, this is big, big business. So it's not small. If you want your business to be that big, you have to treat it like big business, and it'll treat you back the same way. If you want negative, if you're going to be negative, you're going to get negative. If you want to be positive, you want positive, you're going to need to be positive, and you'll get positive. Write that down. If you want to be positive, you got to call it forth. I just took a few notes. Oh my goodness, it's so exciting. If you only care enough about a result, you will surely get it. If you only care enough about a result, you will surely get it. That's awesome. For sure. Why? Because you're focused on it. What you focus on, you're going to get more of. What you focus on expands. A man is what he thinks about all day long. That's what I put as the headline for our call today by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Whatever we think about comes about. So the keys to success and failure are so simple. But what happens is it requires effort. It requires you to do the simplicity of what I challenged you to do last week. Listen, if you didn't do it last week, you can do it today. What are you waiting for? I'm telling you that the top, even 1% of all success in the world, top 5%, all successful people in the world are taking care of knowing where they're going. Last week I talked about planting a garden, and I likened this whole farmer's field of fertile soil. I likened that whole field. The soil is like the mind. Whatever, it doesn't care. The soil doesn't care what you plant in it. If you plant a green bean, seed, or if you plant a poisonous seed, whatever you plant in there, you take care of, you water, and you take care of, ultimately it will produce the same. And so if you look in this field thereafter, you might have some beautiful green beans, or you might have some poison. And that applies to our mind. But our mind is such a machine that whatever we put in and we nurture, we're nurturing through the suggestion of having, and it's not just a suggestion, this is a proven fact that successful people do this. You're writing this out and you're saying it morning and night. You've got the card. Make several of these cards. Put one in your car, one in your bathroom, one in wherever. You'll see it, and you say it over and over again. It's the nurturing and taking care of the mind, the fertile mind. It's like the ability to operate, like I watch some of these machines that drive on the golf course, or some of the things, or there's a neighborhood and a development going up, and you watch this huge machine being run by this one little guy up there. He's not going to let go of this machine and think it's going to run itself. And it's almost like the mind, if we don't take care of what we're putting in, if we're going to let somebody else take the wheel of our mind, anything can be dumped in. And that's why it's extremely important to take care, to watch over and guard what you watch, who you're with, what they say, how they speak. This is key to your success. We can't just allow anybody to dump stuff in. Herb and I had a major deal go on recently, a major deal. And we recently were discussing that it would have been a majorly different outcome if we had more knowledge all along. So knowledge is power. When you're working with situations or people, or you're coming into something new, you can't be X'd out of, you've got to know. If you're in the know, you can make better decisions. It's hard to convince someone of something if you don't have certain crucial, critical information. And that's what we were discussing. If we had some certain critical, crucial information at certain points, it would have been a totally different result. And so that's why I say to you, get the knowledge. It is powerful. It's not everything, but yet always realize you're never arriving where you think you know everything, because it's a turnoff, right? So I just want to read real quick out of the word, and in Proverbs 3, verse 5 through 12, it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." Trust in the Lord with all your heart. We can't lean. His thoughts are not our thoughts. His ways are not our ways. So it's a matter of leaning not on our own understanding, but on the wisdom that comes from above. It's so different than the worldly, demonic, self-seeking wisdom that's from below. So, and in all your ways, acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. In all your ways. Do you know, yes, I'm the one. You always think, oh, they're so weird. Some people that love the Lord are just weird, right? Well, maybe I'm one of them, because where I'm going to park, I am leaning on him for the direction. Like I ask, God, especially if I'm in a hurry, it's like, God, open up a spot. Help me find a spot. God, it's like amazing how even when I put my makeup on, the line above my eyes, like I'm actually asking for direction from, to guide my hand so that I don't mess up, because I don't have time to mess up right now. Father, that. It's just amazing. Like I'm that one. Everything I do, I acknowledge him and give him the credit. And I ask for the guidance from above. As simple as my makeup. Do you think that he doesn't care about that? He cares about everything. He cares about your pet. He cares about all of these things. And by the way, somebody recently said that their pet was getting older and to pray for their pet. And of course I did. And now it is actually doing better. I'm so happy. But here's the thing. Pets were given to us, and here's the big revelation, right? We're supposed to outlive them. That's a good thing. But it's hard. I know it's hard. And I love animals. I said to my daughter, who came and surprised me yesterday for my birthday, oh, by the way, thank you for all the most wonderful birthday comments and all the, congratulations and all that. Thank you so much. They were overwhelming. I actually did not go on Facebook. I did not look at a lot of stuff, because I think I would have just been doing that all day. But I was thanking my daughter, surprised me, and we just had such quality time as a family. And they all asked, what do you want to do for your birthday? What do you want to do? Like, we have to go do some great big thing. And I told them, I says, the best thing I love the most and what I want to do is just spend time. That's it, with each other. We don't have to do anything. I don't need any gifts. I don't need anything. I just want to spend that time. That's why when we go on cruises, I love, the best part of a cruise for me is when we all get together at dinner. We all get dressed up and we go to dinner and we sit there just as a family. And it's just us. And we can actually just have so much fun. And then they wait on us, and the waiters or waitresses are usually a lot of fun. And that's the best thing. So here's an ironic point. And I know I got to get back to this, and then we're going to close. And ironic, this is so whacked out, because I even say it in business. I say, look, if you give things away, something given for nothing is treated like nothing. So the irony is that the things that are free are really the most valuable. I mean, it's true. We tend to, as society, give heed or give a value to something you've paid for. But yet, the things that are free, your friends, your children, your relationship, and all of those things, and you can even say our country, our freedom's not free, your relationship, and it's not free because you fight for things, right? I fight for things, and for those that understand in the Lord, you fight for your, the violent take this by force, right? Because the kingdom of God suffers violence, and the violent take it by force is what the word says. What that means is sometimes things come against, and you want to fight for that because we're in a battle here. But the things that were free, our health, our ability to breathe, these are free, and they're actually so much more valuable than some of the things we pay for. Because usually the things we pay for, we can replace, whether it's a home, a car, or whatever. But yet, the things that we can't pay for, really, we got to watch and keep everything in perspective. And like it says in Proverbs, it says, in all your ways acknowledge him. Acknowledge the Lord. Give him the credit for it. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. And that's a healthy reverence. It's not a fear like he's a bad, a God that wants to do bad things to you because whatever. He's not. And a lot of people have a misconceived notion of the Father. He's a loving Father, and he loves you no matter what you've ever done. But so that reverence is like, I know with my kids, it's like I never really had to spank them. I wasn't opposed to it, and they did get spanked, but it was very infrequent because they knew I had the guidelines laid out as to what the reasons they would get spanked. What they can lying and stealing. I can't stand lying and stealing. Don't lie to me because now I've lost, I'm like, I lose trust. Listen, do not lie, do not steal. And by the way, a white lie is lying. I was raised with, all right, tell him I'm not here. Okay, no, he's not here. And I'd hang up and it was just that's a lie. Right? So people call them white lies or this lie or a sin. Some people do something that's so bad and it's like, oh my goodness, you'll never be able to get to God again and whatever, insert, I had an abortion or that's like murder. Yep. And then this person's lying. Do you want to know in the Lord's eyes, they're the same. Anything that separates you from that plumb line of righteous versus, that's the separation. It doesn't matter how big the quote unquote sin is, whether it was murder or whether you hated somebody. Unforgiveness. We can't walk around with unforgiveness, and if you want to be selfish about it, it's hurting you more than them. It's hurting you more than them. It's like drinking poison and hoping it bothers them. It doesn't bother them. Unforgiveness and bitterness and resentment are hurting you. Just forgive them. Give them the benefit of the doubt and realize, man, they don't even know what they're doing. They didn't mean it, whatever, because it helps you be healthy. It will be health. So do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. It will be health to your flesh and strength to your bones. Honor the Lord with your possessions. Everything you have is his. It's not yours. When we had children, it was like, God, thank you so much. They're so beautiful. They're yours. I dedicate them to you. Father, help me raise them. This business, it's yours. It's not mine. Help me, Father, with it. Our bank accounts, they're yours, God. They're not ours. But help me. Please give me the wisdom with what to do with it. That's how healthy. It's very healthy to not be attached, right? So, and with the first fruits of your increase, give of your time, give of your money, your finances. You can tell where a man's or a woman's heart is based on where they spend, right? So your barns will be filled with plenty and your vats will overflow with new wine. So you'll have abundance is what that speaks of. My son, do not despise the chastening of the Lord. For whom the Lord loves, he corrects, just as a father the son in whom he delights. In other words, don't hold back the chastening if you're a parent. Don't resist it from your father. If you're a kid that's listening, your parents love you, and and by the way, kids tend to thrive. They thrive in an environment of rules. If there's no rules, it's like a game with no rules. It's out of control. So don't hesitate to bring the rules and the guidelines and the boundaries because kids thrive in boundaries. I've seen that. I've seen our children over the years ask me to say no to things. Mommy, when so-and-so calls, they ask me to sleep there. Just say no. Like, listen, they might know things that you don't, and they may not be willing to tell you why, but they don't want to go over there. I don't know what it is, but the point is, and of course I'm not saying don't delve into that, but the point is the boundaries are what gives them freedom. Boundaries give us freedom. Write that down. It's so true. And so for whom the Lord loves, he corrects, just as a father, the son in whom he delights. Because he loves us, he corrects us. Because we love our children, we correct them. Don't fall for today's day and age. They're saying, oh, just let them go and freedom, and you're trying to be your kid's friend and all that. And I'm all right with that, to have conversation. But I'm not all right with just letting them do whatever they want. And so I ask you to be a parent. Sometimes you have to step up and be a parent. Sometimes you have to say no to these shows. Sometimes, you look at the shows and they're being disrespectful to the parents in the shows, and the way they talk to each other is disrespect, and or there's language, or there's whatever. You're the parent. You can say, turn it off. Not in my house. Guys, we have to rise up and have a backbone on these things. So, in closing, let me say this. I recommend Proverbs 3, 5 through 12. Read that again and again. You can pick that up in your Bible and just kind of meditate on those things. The Bible says, right? Fill your mind, the renewing of our mind. Become familiar with what is right, what's wrong. I mean, innately we know, but yet there is a guideline, and you can easily be swayed. Easily be swayed. If somebody's out there and it's the New Age teaching is very deceptive. It's very sneaky, and it can sway you into, these crazy thoughts. And if it's not in the Bible as a basis, then but how are you going to know if you don't get in one? So I recommend that. I know we're going to be live here. Next Thursday we'll be live again here, and I know we take live events. We do live events, and I do want to encourage people to stay in touch with us. I think the next time we're going to be in Tennessee, and I believe that's in August. I don't have it in front of me, but definitely follow us. And of course, you can follow if you like these teachings that I'm doing. I'm on a radio show in Wilmington. We're also putting it on podcast and on Stitcher. So you can Google my name and find me there. And it's been extremely, he was excited, like he wanted it. No, I want it 2 or 3 times a week. I'm on the show now instead. So I started once a week. And then we're having requests from other radio shows and all around the area. And so I just want you, if this is blessing you and you want to listen to these, those are definitely Bible-based. And they're really, really, really delving into the Word. So I go record for that here shortly. And I just want to encourage you, if you are being blessed by these, share them. Share them on all your social media platforms. And tell people, because that's my heart. It's not about I'm trying to sell something. I just want to get the word out so that people can be blessed, so that they can go make a difference in the world. So like I always end every broadcast with is, who can I help today? So Father, as they go today, and I want to lift up a prayer of blessing over them, Father, that you would protect this, that your seed is sown in your word. It goes out. It never returns void. That you utilize this, and it's been planted in fertile soil. That you would instill in them your word and give them a desire, such a desire to seek you with all of their hearts. That the clutter and the distractions of this world would not get in the way of just how fascinating you are, God. That you love so much. You love them so much. Jack, he loves you. So, Susie, Joe, whoever's on, you just realize he loves you so much no matter what. And he wants to have that relationship with you. All it takes is just to turn from all your stupid things you've done. Repent to them. Say them. Hey, look, I did this. I had hatred for this person. I did this, I did that. Jesus, I believe you are the Son, and fully God, fully man, that you walk this earth, that you're the atonement. The blood you shed was the atonement that allows me to go into the presence of God. And I ask that that blood would wash these stupid things I've done away and set me free. It's that simple. God, he raised, Jesus came, he walked a perfect life, died a bloody death, rose again, conquered death. You came, you were put here by your Creator. You came onto this planet for a short time So I had a birthday yesterday. I said to my husband, I said, it's like, unless I lived to 108, I'm more than halfway through this journey. And it goes so fast, but it's not, it's like, but we live for eternity. It's eternity. So the question is, where will you spend eternity? Do you know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that if you were to die today, you would go to heaven? Do you know? If you don't, I'm telling you how. I just kind of led you through the way to know, and then seek the Lord in all that you do. Seek Him with all of your heart. Don't rely on your own understanding, but seek Him and realize that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. That no man goes to the Father, goes to heaven, except through His blood that was shed to wash away our sin. We needed that atonement. And when you start to walk in that and have this time with the Lord, it's amazing. It's so freeing, and He is so fascinating. So guys, with that, I'll call it a call. I love you guys. Ask yourself, who can I help today? God bless everybody.